Yo, what's up, headhunters and executive recruiters? This is David Stephen Patterson, and I've got a short little message for you today on a subject that's been brewing in my mind now for a while. Kind of a new subject here that I haven't really talked a lot about. I've talked a little bit about here recently, but haven't really dived into it in detail. And the subject today was spurred on by a conversation I had earlier with a prospective client. Now, we're not going to be working together. We actually had a fundamental disagreement with regard to the philosophy on recruitment marketing when it comes to content. I'm not saying one is right, one is wrong. I'm just going to give you my perspective and my philosophy on content and in what I call my concept of cooking your own dinner. Now, many of you have heard the terminology, or the phrase rather, eating your own dinner, right? That's basically practicing what you preach. So, as a great example, we as recruiters oftentimes don't even eat our own dinner. Meaning, we talk about hiring top performers. We talk about creating a very structured interview process, reaching out to passive candidates. However, many search firm owners in their own firms don't actually eat their own dinner, meaning they don't practice what they preach, right? They don't reach out to those passive candidates for their own recruiters, or they don't have that sort of structured interview process, and they sometimes will use their gut when making a hire, which is one thing we try to get our clients not to do, okay? So that's one side of eating your own dinner, right? On the other side, you have what I call cooking your own dinner, right? And that is what I say is kind of embodying and imbuing your own content, right? Your own philosophy. One of the things I talk about in my program quite often is that we as recruiters are not masters of what we do, right? We're very good at going out and hustling candidates. We get a job order, we call. We sell a candidate on a position, we hustle to get him in there really quick, and then we kind of close our clients and our candidates. We prep them, but we don't really prep them, especially our clients. We expect our clients to know how to hire, how to interview correctly, how to do scorecarding, how to do behavior interviews correctly, or how to, let's say, be able to really assess talent and how to onboard them and how to retain them, et cetera, et cetera. And they don't. They don't. 1 out of 2 hires are mishires almost across the board, right? And of the ones that are not mishires, the majority of those that don't end up being mishires are people that are kind of average, right? They're not bad to be fired, but would you really hire them again? Probably not. We've all seen those sorts of folks, and hopefully none of you listening to this are in that category, okay? Because we expect excellence here in the Herc. So anyway, back on point. So we believe this as a fundamental philosophy, right? Or at least you should. Now, in order for us to get this message out to our prospects, okay, our clients that we want to do business with, we need to really educate them on why that is. And unfortunately, many of them are not willing to listen, okay, because I always use the back surgery scenario when a potential patient goes in to see a doctor. Doctor says, "Hey, you need surgery." Patient says, "Yeah, I don't think so, doc. Just give me the pain pills," right? Because surgery is painful. Surgery is painful, but it's the right thing to do in many circumstances. So as a good doctor, you have to really got to go in there and diagnose that patient's pain and figure out, okay, and get that patient, or illuminate that patient's pain so much where the pain of that surgery is not as much as the pain that they are experiencing. Much of that pain they're not even aware of, right? The pain of not just the physical pain, but it's also the pain of a degrading back over time, and what the consequences of not being able to pick up your 4-year-old daughter, play with her, or not being able to get a good night's sleep, so your work suffers because you can't sleep, or not having a love life with your spouse because your back hurts so goddamn much. Okay, so that's what I mean about how our prospects, they're used to just throwing out to another recruiter, and they're not really satisfied with the level of service that they're getting, and they have mishire after mishire after mishire after mishire. Okay? And so, unfortunately, our clients are in pain we have a solution that can really help them if you have a higher level solution, right? But when you kind of educate them along the process. So what does that involve? It involves content because, as I've always said, people don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. Give them something that they love to buy, that they're educated about. They say, you know what? Actually, that's what I want. But unfortunately, our clients are going to give our prospects aren't going to give us the time of day. Hey, do you mind if I talk to you for a half hour and explain to you what the pain is and how my solution can solve your pain? Let me kind of take you along that. Hello? Hello? Right? It's just not doable. So that's where content comes into play, right? Unfortunately, for many recruiters coming up, in fact, same thing for me when I was coming up in the business, I was cold calling because there really wasn't a great way to indoctrinate my prospects. Sorry, I got a text message here. Wasn't a great way to indoctrinate my prospects. So I had to use a lot of email, a lot of phone calls, and just over time I chipped away at the rock. Now with things like Facebook and LinkedIn and just all the social media out there, when combined with other things like email still works, direct mail still works if done correctly, and yes, cold calls do work if done correctly. But combining all of that, right? And the fact that this is now the remote control of our lives, everybody is on here. When we go to the bathroom, when we're on the corner store, out at the market, we're in line, it's consuming content, and our prospects do consume content. Anybody tells you their prospects aren't on Facebook, they're basing that assumption on a focus group of one, which is the height of naivete. Okay. Anyway. So if you could push out content that speaks to their pain on platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn, etc., okay, push out that content and make it relevant to them, right? So I'm not talking, about my solution to people who don't see my solution as relevant. I'm going to talk about pain. The pain of a mishire, the pain that in 80% of the time, and there have been studies that borne this out, in 80% of the candidates that you interview, they spoon feed you lies roughly between 7 to 8 times per hour. That is 100% true. Studies have borne this out, right? It goes right back to, people are perfect twice in their lives. Once when they're born and once when they apply for a job. Okay? And unfortunately, our clients are very ill prepared to handle that, to be able to find the right talent and to assess that talent. That's our job to help them do that. So, educate them about the pain. Get them to see what the real problem is. The real problem is the fact that they just need a new recruiter. That's not going to work. Okay? The real problem is that they need to go into the passive candidate marketplace and find one recruiter who's an expert. Pay them in advance, lock them in, get them to dive deep into the marketplace, and use a multi-pronged strategy to contact every single person that could potentially fill your role. Weed out all the bottom and mid-level performers. Take those top performers, get them really sold on the opportunity. Okay, not just a boring ass job description, but really sell them on the opportunity. And then help that client assess. All right, that's a big one. Help them assess all along the line. Now, educate them about that process, right? By educating them about that process, now I'm demonstrating my authority. Remember, it's pain, then problem, then consequences, then authority, then process, right? That's our journey that we want them to go through. Once they go through that, then we can start talking about, the proof that we have. Other clients have used our service or at least have followed that steps to get those results. Then we can handle any objections that come up, because usually people have objections, like they may have an objection about the process itself. Like, well, candidly, I know a superstar when I see them, right? Or we can't afford the top performers in the industry, or or whatever, right? So it could be objections about that, or it could be objections maybe about your solution, right? You tend to see objections along the path, and you handle those, right? And you sell them what their vision is going to be, right? What would life be like if you could eliminate all those mishires, if you could de-risk your hiring decision, Okay, what would that do for your career? What would that do for your company? What would that do for your shareholders? Right? What would that do for your personal life, your financial well-being? Right? Again, we're in the business of transformation. Right? So to get them there, and then you sell them on your solution. Wow, your solution, your offer is the vehicle. It is the vehicle that's going to get them from point A to point B. It is the vehicle on what you sold them on originally, which is the process, right? Think about weight loss. If you were or getting in shape, okay? The process that you're selling them, right? You're selling them the idea that the quick fix solutions that they're doing, right? Maybe I'm low T, maybe I'm not using the right trainer, maybe I need to go buy Bowflex, right? I need to say, no, that's not the problem. Your problem is you're forgetting the fundamentals of getting in shape, right? The mindset behind it, the relationship with food. Then you need to lift heavy, and then you need to eat right, cut out the carbs, high protein diet, get the right kind of fats. Okay, this whole low fat, no fat thing is not doing you any favors. But you're eating high fructose corn syrup. You got to cut that shit out. Don't be drinking booze every day, right? All those fundamental things. We got to sell them on that process and why that works. And tell them, hey, and if you don't follow this process, you're going to die in 10 years. You're going to get early onset diabetes. That's the consequences, right? And then here's my authority. I'm a registered dietitian. In fact, I was in your shoes 2 years ago, and then look at me now. I lost 100 pounds because I figured it out. And here's the proof. Here's Steve, and here's Bob, and here's Sarah, right? They went through my program, right? And now here's my program. Here's my solution, which is my vehicle, but the process, right? I've sold them on why they need to lift heavy, why they need to do light to moderate cardio, no more than that, right? Why they need to do this and do this and do this and do this, right? They've sold on that, so here's my program to get you from point A. Here's my vehicle. I'm going to sell you on that vehicle, handle any objections along the way. Okay, so now that I've described that, as you can see, there's a lot to it. There's a big journey. Okay, now how effective would that be, that journey, me taking you along that journey, if I had somebody else come in and write my content for me, right? Whether it be a Facebook advertising guru, a LinkedIn advertising guru, a professional copywriter, okay? That's the thing, is you can find a great copywriter that can sell great copy to sell a goddamn blender, okay? We're not selling blenders. This is a fundamental shift in the way these hiring managers have to look at the entire hiring process. It is a big shift. This is not getting a contingency job order, because getting a contingency job order is relatively easy. Right? You just got to show up and say the right things, and because they're already sold on they need another recruiter, this is another quick fix solution. But to get them off of that and to really kind of get them off and on this journey, okay? Your content has to come from you. Has to come from the practitioner. That's cooking your own dinner. Okay? Cooking the meal. You're going to cook your dinner and you're going to eat your dinner. It's really key to success. And a lot of people don't want to do that because either they've been frustrated with results in the past, right? I've gotten people before who've tried this advertising guru and this and this and this, and maybe they weren't recruiters, right? Which is kind of why the advertising probably didn't work, it didn't connect, okay? Which is a reason why if you have a digital marketer that has never been a recruiter before, things they say may make sense, and I know some specific examples of folks who do this. It may make sense, but it doesn't resonate because they've never been a recruiter, right? Their butthole is never puckered up when they get an email from a candidate at 5 p.m. on a Friday, and that candidate's supposed to start on Monday. And you're like, oh, I don't want to open the email. And then when you do open the email, come to find out they accepted a counteroffer, but here's the worst part. They told the client first instead of you, so now you can't even do damage control. And all this, and we've already mentally spent your commission check. I've been there, I've lived it, I know it, okay? The content I write speaks to that. Now, is it tough? Yes, it's hard. It's a whole new skill set that you have to learn. But if you have a copywriter come in and pick out okay, based on our study, here's the picture that gets the most clicks, and this subject line gets the most opens. It's not, okay, just getting the most eyeballs on something, getting the most clicks on something is not going to draw them in. It's the same reason why just putting out a CTA ad, like a call to action, like, hey, here's an ad, download my thing or book a call. You're not educating them at all, and you're not bringing them along that journey. It's a fundamentally different type of advertising and a different type of messaging, and it's a different relationship you have with your audience. It's having a high touch, high intimacy relationship versus a non-intimate relationship with your audience. Okay, so that's my philosophy. And so unfortunately for people that want to work with me, sometimes they ask me, hey, can you write my content? Can you create my ads? I say, no, I'll show you how to do it. I'll work your way through it. I'll help you. I'll even provide copy that you can take and kind of modify, make your own. But at the end of the day, you got to cook your own dinner, because if you don't cook your own dinner, then you're always going to be dependent upon a chef who doesn't really truly know what you and your audience really want. Right? Because that chef ain't eating his own dinner, right? The Facebook advertising copywriter who has never been a recruiter, who has never been a hiring manager, who has never dealt with mishires, no matter how good of a cook he may be, because he doesn't eat his own dinner, means his dinner's always going to be slightly off, right? Because he doesn't eat his own dinner, right? Means that your dinner's not going to be right. You have to be able to cook your own dinner because you know it, you love it, you breathe it, the business, and that's going to resonate with your audience. Okay? Really, really important. So, anyway, I hope that makes sense. A bit of a rant. I apologize about the kind of the rambling nature of it, but that's why it's so important to write your own content. And one other note as well. It's also why I'm doing the LinkedIn engagement pod. Now, for those of you who are not aware of it, it's really important. It's a bit of work, but every Wednesday, we're going to write, many of us in the group are writing an article or a post, posting it on LinkedIn, and then we will go and engage with it. We'll share it, like it, comment on it, and we will help drive that on LinkedIn to create a bit more organic reach, as well as to create a body of work. When someone goes and looks at your LinkedIn profile and they see, a bunch of articles, but no one likes them, no one shares it, right? Well, it's better than not having any articles, but at the end of the day, they want to see some social proof. People are resonating with it, okay? No matter how good it is, if no one's resonating with it, if no one likes it and shares it and comments on it, then somebody else is less likely to do so. So for us, it's a way to get some really quick engagement on it, kind of kickstart it, if you will. However, I have noticed some people posting on their content on LinkedIn and not liking and commenting on the others. Okay? Don't piggyback. If you post something in there, give back. They're going to give to you, you give back. Otherwise, the LinkedIn engagement pod will die. They'll post their shit and nothing will happen. And you'll think, well, this is bullshit. Okay? So when you post something in that comment, in that thread that you want engaged on, go back a few times later in the day, and the people that posted later in that day, make sure you comment on theirs as well. That's the price. Okay? The other price is this. Write your own goddamn content. Please don't share other people's content. Curating content is fine. That's easy. Okay? This is meant to make you stretch. This is meant to make you expand. So please write your own original content and get it posted. Okay? Please do not post shared or curated content. Candidly, it's cheating. I repost stuff all the time. That's totally cool, but I also write my own. For the LinkedIn Engagement Pod is designed to force you every Wednesday. Shit, I need to make sure I get something written and get it out there so I can build up my own body of work, not promote somebody else's body of work. That is how you build authority and expertise in the industry. Reposting other content is not how you it's not how you demonstrate expertise and authority. It's how you stay top of mind, and that's good, but create your own content. And for those of you who say that you can't, yes, you can. I was shitty when I first started, and I just got better just by practicing, okay? Practicing. So anyway, hope that makes sense, guys. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you so much for being being a part of my group, the Herc. And with that said, everybody, happy hunting.